Just to start wrapping up, the last question I'd have is, you mentioned that you think Silicon Valley will start looking more and more like Wall Street. And I mean, there's just so much that we can talk about there, specifically when we look at the fact that public equity returns when you buy things at the IPO have been significantly diminished in the last 5 years, and then most of the returns are now built in private equity investing, which includes venture capital, as long as you have the correct access to some deals. So then in the last 6 years or so, maybe, right? Like we started having D1, Tiger, Cochu, and like all these other firms, Altimeter.
Yeah, Altimeter. Altimeter is crushing it. Oh my God, they're crushing it.
They're basically saying, oh, you mean all you have to do is just grab, all the hundreds of billions of dollars that we have and continue to just work harder than 80% of all these lazy VCs? No problem. And then, and by the way, let me just go and see all these people that are being treated unfairly at all these other VC firms that should be partners and are not partners. I'm just going to fucking hire them, make them partners.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happened.
So it's fascinating. I have so much admiration for them. But then, what's your view on what will happen?
Like here's what I was seeing in 2018, 2019. I'd met a bunch of young founders where like their plan was like, come to San Francisco, crazy expensive, but this is where the money is, this is where the network is, going to come here for 1 or 2 years, then I'm going to take my company remote. That was already happening in 2018, 2019. I was already talking to a lot of founders like that. I think you're going to see a lot of that, right? I'm going to come to SF, build my network, meet the folks, raise my seed, raise my A, whatever. Then we're basically just going to take this company multi-hub remote. And like I said, 2020 sped this up. So, I do think like you're just going to see this happening on a regular basis in a much more condensed form than it was before. And I think that's natural. That's probably a good thing. So I think, like I said, SF is going to become like Wall Street, right? This is where you come get your money, hang out for a bit, but then you go back somewhere else, right? Or you leave to go somewhere else. And I don't think that's a bad thing because, SF has always been, what are 49ers, right? The 49ers were miners who came, to try to make their money, and a lot of them left. And so this is a gold rush town. That's the way SF has always been and probably will always be. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We just have to accept it and be okay with it.